You're listening to Purdue's #1 sports talk radio show, Sports Night on WCCR, Extreme College Radio.
Sweep to the right-hand side, into the 15, breaks to the outside, off the block, goes to the 10, to the 5, and he scoots into the end zone for the touchdown.
Moore has it, ahead to Johnson, Hill, play action pass, he rolls straight back, they've got a man wide open, it's Ross, he's at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Boilermakers! Corner Smith shoots another three. It's intercepted. Ricardo Allen may score. He's at the 30. He's at the 40. One man to beat is Robinson. Robinson can't get him. He's at the 30, the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Ricardo Allen.
Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Michael Tainer.
And I'm Steve Pedrezza. Well, it's been 2 weeks, and they did some moving around in the studio.
Rusty in here.
I don't know. It's been 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been pressing the right buttons. I don't know.
We're all good.
Anyways, did you have a good fall break? I know you were stuck here working.
Yeah. We had to clean house at the dining court I work at, and then go over to another one and work there, which we didn't have any idea. It was interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Well, I enjoyed mine.
Yeah.
It was a good time away from school and everything.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we've got a great show lined up for you guys tonight. We're going to let you know what's happening in Purdue Athletics. We will break down and analyze the Purdue football games against Minnesota and Penn State. And we'll preview Purdue's next game versus Illinois. Mike and I will look back at Week 6 in the NFL in our segment, The Redzone. Finally, we will look through some sports news in Headline Crossfire. Mike, you ready to go?
Yes, sir. All right, let's start off with Back in Black this week in Boilermaker Athletics.
The number 11 Purdue women's volleyball team was busy over the last 2 weeks. 2 weekends ago, the team took on Nebraska and Iowa, where they lost to the Cornhuskers 3-1, yet defeated the Hawkeyes 3-0. This past Friday, the ladies took on number 9 Penn State and lost to the Nittany Lions 3-1. Tiffany Fisher led the team with 11 kills. Then on Saturday, the Boilers took on number 24 Ohio State and defeated the Buckeyes 3-1. Junior Ariel Turner was steady as always, pacing the team with 18 kills while adding 3 solo blocks and an ace. The Purdue women's volleyball team competes again this Wednesday at home against in-state rival IU starting at 7 p.m.
The Purdue men and women's cross-country teams have had 2 busy weeks. 2 weekends ago, the teams competed in the IU East Invitational, where the men's team took first place and the women's team took fourth place. This past weekend, the cross-country teams competed in the Adidas Elite Invitational in Madison, Wisconsin, where the men's team took 37th place and the women's team took 42nd. Cross-country teams will compete again for the Big Ten Championship on October 30th.
The Purdue women's soccer team competed in 3 games over the last 2 weeks. 2 weekends ago, the team opened up against Ohio State and defeated the Buckeyes 2-1. This past Thursday, the ladies took on Indiana in the Battle of the Golden Boot. The Boilers were able to tally 8 goals to defeat the Hoosiers 8-2. Then on Sunday, the team took on Michigan and lost 3-1. The Purdue women's soccer team takes the field again Friday at Wisconsin.
The Purdue softball team took on St. Joseph College at Huntington College over the past 2 weeks. The Boilers were victorious in both games, defeating St. Joe's 3-0 and Huntington College 7-1.
2 weekends ago, the Purdue men's golf team competed in the Jack Nicklaus Invitational in Dublin, Ohio. The Boilers finished the 2-day event in 8th place with a total score of 894, which for the tournament was 330 over par. The men's golf team will finish the Midden Memorial Classic tomorrow as play was suspended Sunday due to bad weather. The Purdue football team was busy over the past 2 weeks as the team opened Big Ten play. Over our fall break, the Boilers defeated Minnesota Golden Gophers 45-17. Then this past Saturday, the Boilers went up to Happy Valley to take on Penn State and fell to the Nittany Lions 23-18. We're going to first look at the stats from the Minnesota game real quick and have our quick thoughts. Total offense for Purdue, we had total yards of 372. Caleb Turbush played the majority of the game. He completed 14 of 21 passes for 140 yards and 1 touchdown pass. Robert Marv was in there for a couple series, second half, a little bit in the third quarter. He completed 4 of 6 passes, 15 yards and 1 touchdown. In rushing, running back Akeem Shavers led the team with 9 carries for 60 yards. Right behind him was running back, the first one was Akeem Hunt, who had the 9 carries for 60 yards. Second, right behind him was Akeem Shavers. The Akeems are Akeem and Akeem.
Yeah.
Akeem Shavers had 10 carries for 52 yards and 1 touchdown. Receiving, O.J. Ross had 5 receptions for 63 yards, and he had 1 touchdown pass as well. Mike, what were your quick thoughts from that game? I know it was 2 weeks ago, kind of over and done with, but what were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I remember catching up on it. Actually, we were, like I said, I was cleaning my dining court that Saturday, but we ate at Ford.
Yep.
And they had it on the radio, so I was able to listen to like half an hour, 45 minutes of the game. But, it's what was to be expected. I think, starting off Big Ten play against Minnesota, who's arguably the worst team in the Big Ten.
They look putrid.
Yeah. So it wasn't much. It was a win that I think everybody expected to have. So
Right.
the fact that we won 45-17 shouldn't have shocked anybody.
Right.
I hope. But it was good to see Purdue come out and really play well, especially after getting wrecked by Notre Dame the week before.
Right.
And everything just looked in shambles after that game. So it's good. It was good to see Purdue come out and play good football against a team that they definitely should have beaten.
Yeah, for this Purdue team, they had to regain focus after that Notre Dame debacle the week before that, and start off Big Ten play. And I thought they came out physical on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. I know what we didn't do in the Notre Dame game was run the ball, and what we first thing we started to see from the Boilermakers against Minnesota was a running attack.
Yeah.
They started to stick with it during the game. Granted, it's Minnesota. They pretty much could have done anything on them, in my opinion. I think everyone else's opinion. But, you always have to establish that run game first. And I know the coaches have been harping that. I know they got away from it in the Notre Dame game. But it's something this team really strives on. If they get rushing yards, Akeem Shavers going, Ralph Bolden, even Akeem Hunt, I want to see the coaches give him a shot. I know he plays a lot in the fourth quarter. And I just think Akeem Hunt brings another quickness, another talented running back to our fold, because we have 2 talented running backs already, Akeem Shavers and Ralph Bolden. 1-2 punch. And defenses are starting to get tired, and we'll talk about it later. I thought, Penn State, great rushing defense, which we'll get back to in just a couple minutes. We can run the ball, I think, on anyone.
Yeah.
On any given Saturday. So, but like I said, physicality was the name of the game, and I thought the defense brought it as well. It was a good one for the Boilers.
It was.
What are your thoughts? Opening Big Ten play, upping the ante, it looked like. What did you see? I know you couldn't catch the game, but...
Right. I saw some highlights and stuff like that. I think it was just a necessity for this team to get off to a good start in the Big Ten because, the road... At that point, Penn State's already happened, but it's not going to get any easier.
Right.
Penn State was a harder team. Then you start playing guys like ranked teams like Illinois, Michigan,
right,
at Wisconsin. So Purdue, if they wanted to have a decent Big Ten record, I think everybody knew that they had to get off to a good start.
Right.
This is not a schedule that you can lose your first 2 or 3 games, 4 games in Big Ten and expect to finish with a decent record.
Right.
Like 4-4. It's not going to happen.
Right.
The backside of this, actually, it's more the middle. I think Purdue ends playing Iowa and Indiana, and I think Ohio State's down there too.
Ohio State and Iowa.
Yeah. So, I think the big beef is right in the middle there when you go Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin. Ohio State can still play.
Yeah.
But so I think they needed to get off to a big start, and I was glad to see them do that.
Yeah. All right, moving on to this past Saturday's game against Penn State. Like I said, we lost 23-18. And just looking at the stats, Purdue had a total offensive yards of 344. Red zone, every time we got in the red zone, we scored. We were 4 for 4 inside the red zone. Individual stats, Ralph Bolden led the team with 13 carries for a total of 97 yards. Passing, Caleb Turbush played 3 out of the 4 quarters. He completed 12 of 25 passes, had 2 interceptions, though. Threw for a total of 162 yards and 1 touchdown pass. In receiving, Justin Stiller had 5 catches for 67 yards. And Albert Evans had that 1 pick on the defensive note that kind of had a little momentum shift in the game. Penn State offensively had total yards of 367 yards, only 23 more than Purdue. Individual stats in rushing, Silas Reed led the team with 28 carries for 131 yards. Passing, Penn State's been switching it quarterback between Bolden and McGloin. McGloin played, I believe, probably 3/4 of the game. More so, he completed 8 of 17 passes. Did have one interception, like I said, the Albert Evans one. He threw for a total yards of 145, and then receiving, Justin Brown had 4 catches for 86 yards. I'm going to start off. We usually start off talking about offensively or defensively. Special teams was the key in this game.
Yeah, it was one of them.
What happened to Carson Wiggs there, Mike?
I don't know. You've got an All-American kicker. He's got to make kicks.
Yeah.
There's really no excuse. I mean, I'm missing. It was a 44-yard field goal. Yeah. I think that he missed. I mean, that's it's a decent distance, but it's a kick that an All-American has to make, and then he missed an extra point. It's like, got to make kicks. I don't know if he just. I can't say. I mean, because everyone's allowed a bad game. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, the guy's not deserving of being great. He's not an All-American." Right. So I mean, I don't know. Right. But at the same time, you gotta, as a kicker, and people always say it. There's always that joke in football where kickers are the ones that don't really practice. They just sit there and they kick and then they're done. And it's disheartening to a team when your kicker, who doesn't put in the grind like every other player does, or the punter, same thing. And then they go and when they blow games. Right. And it was tough. I'm not going to put all the blame on Wicks because there were plenty of mistakes that Purdue made, but it wasn't a good day for him.
Yeah, like you said, Carson Wiggs missed that 44-yarder, and then that would have been a great time for Purdue to shut that whole stadium, the hostile environment in Happy Valley. It would have been a good way to quiet them. And then after that missed field goal, Penn State went down the field and scored. Mm-hmm. That mixed extra point, I don't know what. It's a chip shot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes the foot just slips. I don't know.
Whatever happened, happened. But, after that, on the pursuing kickoff, he kicks it out of bounds, puts Penn State on the 40-yard line. You could just feel a kind of sense of momentum shifting. And what happens on Penn State's next offensive series? They go down the field and score a touchdown. Yeah. So, Carson Wicks, he missed 4 points, but it could have led to... It actually had a 14-point swing in Penn State scoring on both those mishaps, on the botched kickoff and the missed 44-yarder. But something he's got to work on. I'm kind of sick and tired of him. I mean, not to harp on him. Danny Hope hasn't really given him the shot at making a 70-yard. We all know he could do it, but Danny Hope I don't think has the guts yet to do it, or hasn't had the opportunity. Opportunity like that probably comes in one every 5 seasons.
Yeah, it comes when for some reason it's 4th down and whatever.
Most of the time it's going to happen when either it's at the end of the game or at the end of half.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sick and tired of him trying 60-yard field goals.
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't. 70-yard field goals in warm-ups.
No.
I mean, they showed him in the pregame highlights during the game, him kicking a 70-yarder into the win in Penn State.
Yeah. It's like,
you know what? Work on your accuracy, please. He's missed one in the Southeast Missouri State game at half. He's had some mishaps, but switching gears, thoughts offensively. They did what they could have, I thought, against the 10th ranked defense in that of Penn State and the nation.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, in Caleb Turbush, I'm off the Robert Marv bandwagon. I'm done with him.
I don't know why he plays.
I don't even know why. It was like monkey see, monkey do. When Penn State switched quarterbacks, right away Purdue switched quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm off the Marv bandwagon right now.
Right.
It's all Turbush. He's managing the game perfect for this team.
Just have him play.
Yeah.
Marv had an